Welcome to On a Positive Note. Each week, we'll bring you the latest in gospel and Christian industry news, as well as in-depth interviews. Now, here's your host, Sarah Hearn.
Thanks so much for joining me today. Let's jump right into it. A.J. Evans is just 15 years old, but he's already stepping into the music world. When you give him a microphone and the music starts, his love for God and his reverence for the things of God is clearly evident. A.J. will release Hooked, his debut single, for Enon Music Group, the Orchid Sony labels, on Friday, March 26. A.J.'s musical influence have been shaped by the depth of appreciation for music that he received from his father, Alphonso Evans Sr. A.J. is an honors student at the Haverford School in Philadelphia, where he continues to sharpen his craft as part of the school's celebrated music program that features an internationally renowned a cappella ensemble. A.J. is governed by Proverbs 3:5-6 and holds fast to honoring God in all that he does, so that God can show him what path he should take. Thanks so much for joining me today, A.J. Tell me a little bit about your upcoming single, Hooked.
I wrote it a little while back, maybe at the beginning of 2020, and the whole purpose of Hooked was I was in like a time where I didn't really know where I wanted to go because of the fact it was Corona. Corona had just started. I was in the house and I was kind of trapped up, and I was like, oh my goodness, I can't see my friends, I can't see the people that I want to see, and it was kind of a sad time for me. So I had to stay hooked on Jesus. And so I wrote that song at the beginning of 2020, and it was just an eye opener to me, just because I wanted to stay hooked on Jesus even through the rough times. So I went to my dad and my mom and I told them that I wanted to go in the studio and sing some things, and that was one of the songs that came up to me that was really prevalent during this time.
Wow, that's such a great story. So how long have you actually been writing? In addition to this song, how long have you actually been writing, just putting words onto paper?
Around, I would say, 6th grade. It's just always something that has been fun to me. I've always been writing about things that's been going on in the world, from like racism to gospel, to just R&B, to anything that came up to my mind. I wrote about it, and I've been doing it since I was in pretty much 6th grade, and it's just always been something that I felt like connected me with God.
Okay, let's dig just a little bit deeper. You've come up with an idea, you've got your thoughts, you've got your words, and you've decided that you want to put it into a musical form. So what's your method for song creation?
Usually, I'll think of a scripture or a topic or something like that, and I want to break it down. So usually, if I think of a scripture at school or something, I'll think of a chorus or something to go with that scripture, and then I just keep on breaking the song down and the meaning of the song, because that's what the song is all about. Is about breaking down what you're reading, breaking down what you're hearing. And that's how my creative process goes usually. And I also use the voice memo app a lot. And that just helps me just stay in tune, and it just helps me just go back to what I wrote before and not forget it. So I usually do it either in my room. I started usually at school during lunchtime or something like that. And my creative process just flows, and I ask God to just help me through my writing while I'm writing.
So how would you describe your musical style?
My musical style, I really like singing gospel music, and I just came to the realization during this time that I can write all different types of music. So I just connect more with God through my gospel and ministering through church, because I've been in church all my life. But during this time, just writing all the time, it just opened my eyes to more genres and more things that I can personally do through my writing.
You've been writing since the 6th grade, and now you're about to release a single. When did you decide that writing was going to be that thing that you wanted to do, writing and music overall?
This time, everything has been flowing during this time. Like I said at the beginning of 2020, it was kind of like that shaking spot for me. I literally was on my bench and I was just sitting there writing. And that's literally all I could do during that time because I couldn't go outside. I couldn't see my family, my friends. So I just sat there and wrote. And my dad was like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "I'm writing." And I came to them one day and I was like, "I really want to go into the studio and do this and like release this." And then they were like, "Okay, we'll do it as a birthday present." And then once I got in there for my birthday, I realized that I wanted to do more. That wasn't necessarily what I wanted to get out of it. So we went into another studio and then we actually did the song full out. And we got musicians and we got like a couple people to help me put out this song. And that's really how it happened. So from my musical standpoint, I really loved writing from far back, but this time has really just got me to sit down and connect with God more because of the fact that I couldn't go outside or do anything else but listen to God.
I know your dad has been a big influence on you musically, so tell me, what is the best advice you've received so far from your dad on your musical journey?
Just been always there for me. My mom too. But for my dad, I think the best advice he ever gave me was one, be a follower. I mean, be a leader, not a follower. And the second one would have to be have a gift of discernment. Um, First with the be a leader, not a follower, he always said that to me, and it was kind of like it always stuck with me because I want to be myself. I want to do what I have to do. A lot of my friends don't necessarily sing. A lot of my friends don't necessarily do musical things. But I'm not going to change who I am for someone else. If you don't accept me for who I am, it's kind of like I have to be myself. I have to be a leader. So that always stuck with me. And having a gift of discernment, that always stuck with me too because it's like you have to know who you're around. You have to know the right people to be around. And that's your gift. That's your instinct. And if God is telling you to do something, you have to do it. Now, if you are hearing things from somebody and you don't necessarily think that that is good for you, don't do it because that's not what God is telling you to do.
Right, right. What would you say to a young person who's listening to your story? What type of advice would you give them as they're seeking to get into the music world? How could they follow your example?
I would say just go do it. Just go do it because I heard something a couple days ago and it was like time is going to go anyway. So if God is telling you to do something, do it. Once the time passes and you haven't done it, it's kind of like you should have done it. So it's just go do it and have faith in God because faith is everything. That's what you work on. So having faith in God that he's going to lead you in the right direction, that's what your life has to be based off of. And you can't necessarily be like, "Oh, I'm inexperienced, so I'm not going to do it." No, have faith in God. If he's telling you something, you need to do it in that season because the time is going to pass you, and if you don't necessarily do it at that time that God is telling you, it may not be you might not be able the door may not be open again for you.
Right, exactly. This is one of my favorite questions to ask my guests. Let's talk about collaboration. If you had an opportunity, what artist would you love to collaborate with someday?
Well, I really like Keedron Bryant because like he's young too, and I feel like us young artists, who's out there writing, who's out there singing about God, and not only God, but just things that's going on in the world right now, is needed because if I can do it, if Keedron can do it, so can younger people as well. So we need the younger people to inspire other younger people to do what they have to do So yeah, so Keedron Bryant would be fun.
Okay. After the single gets released, what's next for you, AJ?
I'm still writing. So while this single is getting released under EMG, Enon's music group, I'm going to start working on more music to put out as well. So I have a lot of stuff written down, but I want to now just get everything musically wise, like inbound and out so that people can actually hear it and hear what more I have for the world.
So what's next for you as you move ahead in life and navigate the music world?
So yeah, being young and being in this music journey, it's been kind of like it's been weird, but it's been straightforward for me. So I've been thinking like I just want to minister. It's not always about performing, but it's about bringing someone else out of what they're going through your experiences, and not only through your experiences, but experiences going on in the world. So, and down the line, I just want to continue to minister to others and to continue to put out music and hopefully like broaden my audience and allow my audience to grow through my music.
Okay. Okay, let's circle back for just a minute because you said a lot, but you also said it was weird. So why don't you tell me a little more about the weirdness?
Because like before like Corona and stuff, I just had got into high school. I'm only in 10th grade. So literally when Corona started, I was only about 4 months into 9th grade. So I was just like learning the vibe and learning my friends and finding new people to hang around. And then it was just like an epic stop. And it was just like, okay, what's happening? And I had to kind of find my way around that. And so it was kind of weird at first, just dealing with the fact that I'm still young. I want to get out. I want to do these things, but God is telling me to chill out real quick and do what I'm telling you to do. Yeah, that's basically what he told me. And so I chilled out, and this is what it has came to. So I'm really excited.
Well, this has been a wonderful conversation. Why don't you tell our listeners how they can stay connected to you and also how to get your single?
So I am on all social media platforms at I am AJ Evans, and also you can get connected to me through my music. My single will be out on the 26th of March. It's called Hooked, and it was a great experience for me, and hopefully once it comes out, I'll be able to share more about my journey through it, and hopefully get a video out to you guys. So I hope I can bless someone through that song.
Thanks so much for joining us today, AJ. It's been quite a pleasure. Listeners, you've heard it here. AJ is releasing his single, Hooked. It'll come out on March 26th. Make sure that you grab it at all digital outlets. That's our show for today. And as always, stay positive.
Thanks for joining us this week for On a Positive Note. The show is executive produced by Sarah Hearn and is a Divine Studios production. Subscribe to our show so you'll never miss an episode. Also, be sure to visit our website, positivelygospel.com, to keep up with the latest news. Be sure to tune in for our next episode.